China's lithography breakthrough, not driven by a single giant, but by a legion of hidden champions. Why is the world fixated on ASML's EUV, while China quietly rewrites the rules of the lithography game? On November 17, 2025, the first 350nm stepper lithography machine from Shanghai Xinshan Micro Equipment completed factory debugging and was quietly shipped to the customer site. On the same day, Shanghai Micro Electronics Equipment, SME, officially announced that its delivery of 28nm immersion lithography machines would exceed 10 units within the year, with capacity utilization soaring above 90%. These two news items barely made a ripple in Western mainstream media, as everyone is still asking, when will China build an EUV lithography machine capable of rivaling ASML? However, no one noticed that a more subversive fact had already occurred: China never intended to follow ASML's old path. Instead, relying on a batch of unassuming small enterprises, it has seized the chokepoints, or 7 inches, referring to the vital weak point of a snake, of the lithography industry. Put simply, a lithography machine is like a super-precision nano-printer. While everyone is fighting over the finished printer, China has quietly mastered the critical ink and parts. Without these, even the most advanced machine is just a pile of scrap metal. Even more surprising is that one Chinese company produces laser crystals that occupy 80% of the global market share. Even ASML has to procure them secretly through European agents. Today, let's dig into the layout of these hidden champions to see how China is using a completely different logic to break the Euro-American monopoly, and what this means for the global semiconductor landscape. First, let's talk about the dilemma everyone is familiar with. High-end lithography machines are known as the pearl on the crown of industry. The global front-end lithography market is essentially monopolized by ASML, Nikon, and Canon. ASML alone holds over 65% of the share, but its lifeline is held by Zeiss in Germany. This century-old company holds 12,500 optical patents. ASML's EUV lenses rely entirely on its supply. Its ion beam polishing technology achieves atomic-level precision, with a lens surface roughness of only 20 picometers. This is equivalent to magnifying a lens to the size of Germany, with surface undulations not exceeding 0.1 millimeters. Currently, China's SMEE can only mass-produce 90nm front-end lithography machines, and is still going all out on 28nm immersion technology. The gap seems immense. But there is a key point ignored by the West: a lithography machine has over 100,000 parts and requires the collaboration of more than 5,000 suppliers globally. No matter how strong ASML is, it cannot exist without the support of the global supply chain. China, meanwhile, is quietly building a local supply chain that does not rely on Europe or America. Commentary and analysis: this is not a sign of China's technological backwardness, but the inevitable result of long-term Western technological monopoly. ASML's hegemony seems unbreakable, but it relies on core suppliers like Zeiss optical lenses and American Cyma light sources. This single-point dependence model is actually extremely fragile. China did not blindly follow the trend to develop complete EUV systems immediately, but instead started with core components. This strategy of avoiding the sharp edge and cultivating the niche breaks the Western dogma that you must master the whole machine to control the industry chain. It also provides a new reference for other latecomer nations to break through technological blockades, which is worth deep reflection by the global tech community. The real breakthrough lies in those niche tracks that no one pays attention to. These Chinese hidden champions are crushing their Euro-American peers in their respective fields. ML Optic, Mold Lay Optics, China's only enterprise capable of processing ultra-precision optical elements for lithography exposure objective lenses. Although there is still a gap compared to Zeiss, it can already meet the needs of domestic 28nm lithography machines, breaking Zeiss's monopoly in the mid to low-end optical component field. Upoptotech, Changchun Upoptotech, its nano-level workstage has a domestic market share of over 60%. The interferometers provided to SME have a positioning accuracy reaching the nanometer level, comparable to similar products from Applied Materials in the US. Castec, Fujian Castec crystals. The most stunning is Castec, the only company globally capable of mass-producing LBO and BBO laser crystals, occupying 80% of the global market share. The KBBF crystal it produces is the core material for deep ultraviolet, DUV, light sources. Without it, DUV lithography machines cannot operate. Even ASML has to purchase indirectly through European agents. Blue Ryan, Lanying Equipment provides optical cleaning equipment for ASML's EUV lithography machines, with cleaning precision under 0.1 microns, more precise than similar Euro-American enterprises. Empyrean has broken the monopoly of Synopsys and Cadence in the EDA tool field, providing tools covering the full flow of analog circuit design, perfectly adapted to domestic lithography processes. Commentary and analysis. The rise of these hidden champions is not the result of a blind pile-up by a whole nation system, but the result of market-oriented innovation and long-term dedication. Compared to Western giants, Zeiss spends 15% of its revenue on R&D annually and took 30 years to form a monopoly. Most of these Chinese companies were established less than 20 years ago, yet they have achieved breakthroughs in niche tracks and even supply ASML in reverse. This is not China winning, but the demonstration of a new innovation path, not pursuing total superiority, but achieving chokepoint breakthroughs at critical nodes. This model not only lowers innovation costs but also gives China an irreplaceable status in the global semiconductor supply chain. It forces us to rethink: is the core of technological innovation scale or precision targeting? The breakthrough in the industrial chain is the true foundation of China's lithography capabilities. Even Japanese photoresist companies feel this deeply. Photoresist is the ink of the lithography machine, determining chip precision and yield. Previously, the global high-end photoresist market was monopolized by Tokyo Oka, Japan, and Dow Chemical, USA. Japan once restricted photoresist exports to China, attempting to strangle the Chinese chip industry. But in just a few years, Chinese companies achieved breakthroughs. Nata Optoelectronic, the only domestic enterprise capable of mass-producing RF photoresist for 28 nanometers and above processes, with a yield of 99.7%, already entering top foundries like SMIC and YMTC. Red Avenue New Materials, through holding Beijing Kemper, it has become the domestic leader in KRF photoresist, with a market share exceeding 40%. By 2025, the localization rate of high-end photoresists like RF-EKRF in China exceeded 30%, and supporting materials like developers and electronic specialty gases achieved full-chain independent control. In contrast, the United States passed the CHIPS and Science Act in 2022, investing $52 billion to subsidize the chip industry and attempt to revitalize local manufacturing. However, subsidy distribution has been slow, and TSMC and Samsung have faced repeated obstacles in building factories in the US, with issues like weak infrastructure and a shortage of skilled workers becoming prominent. To date, production capacity has not met expectations. Commentary and analysis. The lesson of Japanese photoresist companies profoundly reveals the stupidity of technological blockades in the era of globalization. Short-term containment only forces the opponent to accelerate independent innovation in the long run. China's breakthrough in photoresist not only secures its own semiconductor industry but also provides more choices for global wafer fabs, breaking the Japan-US monopoly. This reflects the fragility of the global supply chain and illustrates that the essence of technological innovation is open collaboration, not closed blockades. As humanity collectively faces the challenge of semiconductor industry upgrades, we need cooperation, not confrontation. China's breakthrough essentially provides more stability to the global semiconductor supply chain, which is good news for all industries dependent on chips. Of course, we cannot avoid controversy and gaps. Some believe that China's Capital Plus policy dual-drive model violates market laws. Zhongjiang High-Tech holds a 10.78% stake in SME, Central Huijin has heavily invested, and the National Integrated Circuit Industry Investment Fund, the Big Fund, continues to inject blood. While this support gives enterprises confidence, some question whether this model leads to a lack of innovation drive. It is undeniable that China still faces huge challenges in the EUV lithography field. Core components like high-end optical lenses and precision dual workstages still have a significant gap compared to Zeiss and ASML, making short-term breakthroughs difficult. However, comparing this to the West, the EU's €43 billion CHIPS Act has similarly failed to quickly break ASML's monopoly and has instead fallen into a subsidy dependence trap. China's model is not a simple copy of the whole nation system, but a combination of policy guidance and market-oriented innovation. Zhongjiang High-Tech's capital investment ultimately needs to be repaid through the company's market performance. This model may be more efficient than the pure subsidies of the West. Commentary and analysis. The debate over marketization versus policy guidance has never had a standard answer. The West has always touted pure marketization, but when the chip industry faces challenges, they have to intervene in the market with huge subsidies. This shows that technological innovation is never independent of policy support. China's attempt breaks the Western cognition that only pure marketization can spawn innovation, demonstrating another possibility: policy guidance can build innovation platforms for enterprises, and market competition can force enterprises to improve their strength. The combination of the two can actually accelerate technological breakthroughs. The merits of this model still need time to be tested, but it undoubtedly provides a new reference sample for global technology policy formulation, making us consider, in the face of global technological challenges, how should government and the market coordinate better? In the future, China's path to breaking the lithography deadlock will not be to copy ASML, but to cultivate more hidden champions like Castec and ML Optic. The strategy is, rely on 28 nanometers equipment to meet mature process demands in the short term, push for 14 nanometers and below process adaptation in the medium term, and attack EUV technology in the long term, while continuously breaking through in niche fields like compound semiconductor lithography machines. The rise of these hidden champions is not only rewriting the fate of China's semiconductor industry but is also quietly reshaping the global technological landscape.